local Future Masters coverage. Sponsored by Lewis Smith Supply and Physicians Hearing Center. Sports segment sponsored by A&D Automotive Group, located in Dothan and Enterprise.
Well, welcome back, folks. Casey, I'm here with Sarah Drake, and we're at the Dothan Country Club, the beautiful Dothan Country Club, for the 69th Annual Future Masters Golf Tournament. We got done with round 3, round 4 tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, I know, Sarah, you were talking to some of the 15 through 18-year-old competitors. Today was basically just practice rounds going on, right?
Yeah, that's right, Mike. The Future Masters Tournament is one of the most traditionally rich tournaments, and it brings in junior golfers from all over the world. This afternoon, I spoke to one competitor, and he said the reason he wanted to compete in the Future Masters is because of the history.
I'm a big golf history buff, and just looking back at the history of people that have played here and who's won this tournament, it was a big deal for me to see all the history that's in this one event that's only 3 days. So I think that was one of the main components on why I was really kind of drawn to play here.
The tournament brings new players every year, but it also has returning players, such as Patrick McCann from Tallahassee, Florida, who says he puts a lot of preparation into this tournament.
I go up to Glenarvan in Thomasville. They've got a great wedge facility there. So I practice my short game, wedges, everything inside 120 yards, and I try to put myself in situations that I'm going to find myself out.
John Calhoun and his son say this tournament means a lot for them because they were both able to play in it.
This is a special place and tournament, and everybody here is just so friendly and welcoming and hospitable. So, but to have a son playing here it means a lot, and we love being here.
It's very, very special as well, knowing that he walked the same fairways as I did, years ago. It's a very cool moment. He always gives me advice, and it's really cool.
And Mike, the first group's tee time tomorrow is set for 6:30 a.m. So we hope that they are well rested for tomorrow, and best of luck to everyone competing.
I'm hoping my alarm clocks work. So, folks, I can get out here. And, speaking of the tournament, a lot of people, as well as organizers of other tournaments, Sarah, they are excited, especially about one competitor, and that is the grandson of Hall of Fame golfer Jack Nicklaus. In fact, a lot of folks, possibly even the Golden Bear himself, may show up tomorrow. Many will remember in this year's Masters Tournament practice round, Gary Nicklaus Jr. knocked in a hole-in-one. His famous grandfather says it was one of his most proudest moments he's ever had in the sport. Gary Nicklaus Jr. tees off at 8 o'clock Thursday, tomorrow morning. Evelyn Thornton's late father-in-law started the Future Masters nearly 70 years ago. Now, if Jack Nicklaus arrives, Miss Thornton says it'll be a highlight for the 69th annual event, but she also wants his privacy to be respected if he does arrive in Dothan.
His being here would have full respect for his opportunity to watch his grandson play and not overload him. I'm sure you would appreciate that, and not make him feel like he had to be the center of attention when that's not what he's here for.
And an interesting side note, Gary Nicklaus Jr.'s father played in the Future Masters Tournament as a youngster in the 1980s. WDHN will be on the links for tomorrow's opening round in the 15 to 18 age bracket. Well, the week-long Future Masters Tournament is not only a great sporting event, Sarah, but it also is a moneymaker. And a moneymaker for the city of Dothan. In fact, it will raise more than $600,000 in local sales tax revenues just for the economy here alone. Dothan Visitor and Convention Bureau numbers indicate that it pumps in, yes, that kind of money, and nearly $1.5 million for the overall Wiregrass. The event takes up more than 2,000 motel rooms in Dothan as well as Ozark and Enterprise. There's a field of 450 golfers along with their family, coaches, and out-of-town spectators.
It's a remarkable event for Dothan. We're hoping to have it many, many more years to come. As you know, it's the 69th year, and we don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. We're hoping for another 69 right behind it.
Now, this year's Future Masters Tournament includes players from 30 states as well as 9 countries, Sarah. Social media postings has even increased the popularity of what we say is nearly 7 decades of play for the Future Masters. And I know golf is so important this week locally, but we got other sporting activities taking place here in the Wiregrass.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. It seems like Wicksburg's loss is Enterprise's gain on the baseball diamond this week. At Tuesday night's June Enterprise City School Board meeting, the board voted to approve the recommendation to hire Wicksburg coach Lee Hyde as the new Wildcat head man. Hyde has headed up the Panther program for the last 12 years, and several of his teams have made it to postseason state tournament play. Enterprise High Athletic Director Trent Trawick says Hyde will pick up from where J.D. Pruitt had the team. And also, Mike, there's news concerning EHS former baseball coach J.D. Pruitt. He has officially been named the new head baseball coach at Spanish Fort. Pruitt headed up the EHS program for 3 seasons and before resigning last month. This past year, the Wildcats finished with a 26-12 record.
And Sarah, the coaching carousel continues here in the Wiregrass. I don't know why everybody seems to be unhappy at their respective schools, but they're going to other schools. Well, less than 2 months before the start of the 2018 football season, a school in southwest Coffee County, we got so many viewers there too, which is great news, is looking for a new head man to lead their program. Earlier this week, Kinston head football coach John Cooper suddenly resigned his position. That was in his first term as a Bulldog coach. That was last year. Cooper's team went 5-5, a large improvement from a 1-9 mark in 2016. No word on Coach Cooper's future plans, but Kinston will begin the process of hiring their 3rd head coach in 3 years, and that's hard for consistency, folks. And in the major leagues, a rare afternoon in Hotlanta. I call it Hotlanta. It was 105 degrees on the field at SunTrust Park, so that is definitely kind of, I think, tough conditions to play in. Anyway, in the bottom of the 4th inning, with the Bravos leading 3-2, Dansby Swanson will single to center field and drives in Charlie Culberson. Atlanta now leading 4-2. But in the 7th, Cincinnati Scooter Jennett singles to center, scoring Scott Schleber. That cuts Atlanta's lead 5-4. Eventually, the Big Red Machine finds a way to win it by the score of 6-5, as we say in Hotlanta. And I don't know, how do you play base? How do you do anything in those kind of conditions?
You can't. Drink a lot of water. Stay hydrated.
I know. Well, that's like Scott told us earlier, you know. It's important to stay hydrated this time of year. Well, anyway, Casey, that's a look at sports and a lot of excitement, to say the least.
Thank you so much, and it's important to be hydrated year-round, but we are going to take a look outside, courtesy of our friends at the Dirt and Digital Network.